Today we are looking into lost media that many of the younger generations are not familiar with, online forum boards, or for us older folks who reach angst status by today's standards, just forums. Remember this? Before Facebook, before Twitter, before endless TikTok and Instagram feeds of useless information, there was another internet. A place built on shared interests, deep discussions, and real communities bonded over those shared interests. This was the golden age of the internet forums, and today we are diving deeper into the lost places of the internet, online forum boards, or just forums. Online forums, often called message boards back in the day or discussion boards, depending on from which ice age you come from, are simply put web applications that allow users to hold discussions in the form of posted messages, imagine emails but public and more structured. Their core purpose is to carry out conversations between two or more people where each reply is more than a few words long and are carried out mostly as a conversation rather than chats as we are used to in today's day and age. The forums emerged somewhere between late 1970s and early 1980s and were often used via modems and phone lines, allowing users to log in and leave messages for others, share files, and play simple games. Those were the start of forums, and while the internet was in its early ages, then www, or more known as World Wide Web, came into the picture. The forums evolved into web-based forums that reach more users than before and were accessible via standard internet browsers rather than dial-up connections. Popular forum boards from that time were UBB Threads, PHPBB, and vBulletin, and provided more structured environments we now associate with classic forums. Key features that differentiate today's social media from forums back then is that unlike chats we have today, those forums were made to form conversations between people that were basically saved indefinitely, creating searchable archives of information and discussion on vast amount of topics that unfortunately the AIs are currently scraping. Users could post a message and receive replies hours, days, or even weeks later, fostering thoughtful responses to the original post over real-time chats. One more feature from those forums that is different to social medias we have today, unless you consider Discord a forum, was that they have volunteer moderators, usually experienced and trusted users of those forums that manage content, enforced rules, and ensured discussion remained on topic and respectful. Reddit moderators. Anyways, there were also other forum features we are missing today on our social media, such as personalized user profiles that had lots of info on users either on their account or under their avatar, displaying their post counts, registration date, personalized signatures that usually people used to either advertise their services, share their game servers, for example Minecraft server owners, often had quick snippets on what their servers were about or even whole banners that promoted them, guilty, while some forums even had full-on profile page customizations, unlike today where most of the times we can change profile picture, add description, maybe link to our website, and in some rare cases like YouTube even add a banner, although limited in size to our profiles. Forums were fundamentally to early internet communities providing dedicated spaces for niche interest, technical support of less known and smaller programs, fun discussions about games, art, or some other topics, and basically they were the predecessor to modern social media websites and applications we have today. But what happened? Where did the forums we just talked about go? Simply put, The internet began to change around mid to late 2000s, and a new phenomenon hit the world and started to rise up to replace those forums. Social media that we know today. Platforms like Facebook, Friendster, and MySpace promised a simpler and faster way to connect with each other, and people liked that. And liked that they could get connected instantly rather than have to wait on replies for hours, days, or even in some more silent forums, weeks. Why type out a detailed response when you can just like the post and move on, confirming that you saw it without adding anything meaningful to the conversation? Why navigate through those forums when a newsfeed delivered all that content now directly to you, based on what you liked and interacted with? Social media prioritized instant updates, personal branding, and broad rather than niche connections. The barriers to enter those new so-called social medias were also lower. You did not have to learn forums, you didn't have to learn forum rules, or navigate complex forums interface that usually each forum tailored to its needs, their style and users. Though social media has unified experience for everyone that joined, just sign up, connect with others and share updates or even stories, depending on which platform you signed up for, oftentimes with people you didn't know. And just like that, with a snap of fingers, the forums started to die out. Slow and silent death. People started migrating to beforehand mentioned social media, and now those are just remnants of past conversations and discussions people were having frozen in time, waiting on their next reply that will never come. But those social media also had another huge impact on our online presence and how we consume content posted online. It shifted from a static content to a dynamic, push-based on highly personalized content. Before social media, content consumption largely involved navigating specific websites or using search engines to find topics you were looking for. In other words, you pulled the content you want to see by actively seeking it out rather than it being displayed to you based on your past internet actions, for example how Google serves you ads and recommendations rather than you actively looking for those things. Those forums as well as websites back in the day were static and every user was served the same content. Was it topics on there, ads that displayed on those websites and forums, or some other per forum experience? It was all the same for every single user that visited it. With social media, the newsfeed or timeline, whichever you prefer, became the dominant interface you interact with that pushes content via algorithm based on your past interactions, connections, and perceived interest that it gathered from your online presence. This might sound as some revolutionary and amazing thing, but it turns out it is totally opposite. It evolved into a constant stream of information and ads, making content consumption a continuous, often passive activity where you shut your brain off and just consume whatever algorithm presents to you that day. Let's take, for example, content creation. Before social media, content creation was largely the product of professionals, institutions, or dedicated hobbyists in certain fields that others learned and interacted with. Those people ensured that the content was correct and often led to positive outcomes, usually with you learning something from each one of those people. Today, anyone with a smartphone and internet connection can become a content creator. Photos, videos, shorts, text updates, and live streams created by everyday users now dominate much of online content. Again, while this sounds like a good thing, it also led to the countless bad behaviors where people copied each other in trends that often are made and optimized to draw in clicks rather than teach you something. Before all of these longer form articles, videos, detailed forum discussions and static web pages were more common, but then came the feeds, and the feeds favor short form content that is easily digestible by anyone who comes upon it. Short videos like TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts are the king. Unfortunately for us, who do not like them, a downfall of useful information. Now that we covered the start of forums, what purpose the forum served, the rise of social media that overshadowed those forums, we came to the final topic, the silent death of the forums. You might be wondering, what did we lose in this transition from forums to social media? And to that I say we lost a lot, and one of more important things is the depth of discussion we lead online today. It's like people refuse to lead thought-out conversations and instead just spit out information that might not be 100% correct, not to discuss certain topics but to start the fire on the internet. For example, YouTube dramas, where both parties benefit from beef between people, but the people who are watching it are not aware that they are being used. To them, they picked a side and are fighting online over some useless topics, thinking they are doing the right thing while a third party is profiting from their infighting. Then we lost the easily searchable archives of online knowledge that is still out there but is reducing in size each day and at a rapid pace due everyone using AI to search for their information, which might or might not be correct rather than consulting with others and coming to a conclusion by themselves. There are even articles lately that show how AI is slowly replacing Google search, which might give us a bleak look into the future we are heading into. You could say we lost, or rather are losing, the library of Alexandria 2.0, that is the internet of old. For those younger folks watching this, the Library of Alexandria was a great library from a long time ago that is considered to be the greatest loss of knowledge ever known to humankind, as it allegedly had answers to some questions we still do not have answers to this day, but overall a great loss of knowledge, same thing that is happening to today's internet forums that host knowledge on topics you will never discover to the new age internet. Like, I do not doubt AI is amazing and is developing each day more and more, but I doubt it would help me solve specific situation I had on my car as that guy on car forums did. But we also lost a sense of belonging to a community. Nowadays, every online social media application is for each man for themselves rather than being part of community of people with shared interests. You could argue that, for example, Facebook groups still had a community feeling, but I disagree. I tried using that after 15 years and the amount of bloat the Facebook now has is unbelievable, to the point I feel old trying to navigate my way around it. And to add cherry on top of all of this, algorithms that we mentioned before dictate what we see, often pushing us into echo chambers rather than fostering real discussions, since those social medias do not benefit from real discussions, but rather more clicks, logins and such on their websites to serve you more tailored ads. With all of that said about social media and how they buried online forums below the deepest pits of the internet, finding information on specific topics from years ago is becoming nearly impossible, and I can relate to that during the research for this video. Pictures I wanted to use are basically non-existent. And especially when big corporations are trying to shut down sites like Internet Archive that hosts a lot of gun sites of old internet and media that can be considered lost to the time, and you are lucky if it is saved even there. On forums, every question, every answer, every shared piece of knowledge was archived and easily accessible to new members that joined those forums. Unlike on today's social media that we really can't find anything, like try finding me someone's old Instagram post via Google or, whatever. That's my challenge to you. I know that all we discussed in this video might sound bleak, but forums aren't entirely that yet. In very specific situations, often technical or very niche communities, they still thrive in the social media run world. Those are places where quick dopamine rush from short-form information just won't cut it, and real discussion is still encouraged over short-form replies that serve no meaning to me, to you, or whoever might stumble upon the topic discussed. For example, one such small community that comes to my mind are the likes of open source software communities that are bound together over a shared love for some kind of software that serves some purpose, or for example even some highly specialized hobby groups where Facebook groups just won't cut it. Heck, some platforms are even trying to bring back forum-like structures, for example Discord, with its forums feature, recognizing that not every conversation is made for social media posts. Unfortunately, it's a good attempt, but done on the wrong way, as we try to host our Minecraft server knowledge base on Discord forums, and let me tell you, it was not the best experience. In terms of usability or ease of use for users looking for information, as information was not easily accessible, even worse, it was not accessible to anyone that is not part of our Discord server. And trust me, even to this day and age, there are some gamers who refuse to use Discord or some other reasons do not use it. But to tie this up, the demand for the deep structured discussion still exists, but will this demand be enough to return the forums back to their glory days? Hardly, as nearly everything today is optimized for mobile devices which coincidentally do not work with the forum structures, as they are optimized for swiping down and consuming information quickly rather than giving them attention and understanding. The internet has evolved, and with it the way we connect and consume content, but for those of us who spend countless hours on forums like me, I still miss engine forums before they turned to whatever they are doing right now with crypto stuff. Those were the places to hang out and make communities on, and still remain a significant part of the internet history. They were more than just a website to some of us. They were our online homes that we went to get a break from our real world once. They taught us how to find information, how to engage in respectful debate. Unless you are a Fortune user, in which case we can skip that part of the internet. They made us who we are today online, made our digital identity that started from our first ever nickname, and I'll share mine. Mine was based on Minecraft, and it started as Miner Gold 9898 because Miner Gold and Miner Gold 9 were already taken. So I added one more set of 98 and voila, a Miner Gold 9898 was born. Later down the line changing the username a lot, but settling on Eitorat, or my YouTube name, which I have no idea how to pronounce in English, and this was scripted with them before I created this channel, so Retro Rewind it is, I know how to pronounce that. They also taught us on how to connect with people who shared our passions, no matter how obscure and niche those were, and find a place where we can call home online. And we came to the final minutes of the video, the conclusion. And the conclusion is, we are going down a dark path with AI and slow removal of forums from online communities, limiting the accessible free knowledge and the internet, but I'll let myself be surprised, as I always am, with how fast times are changing, and hope that the forums one day will return to their glory days. Maybe not as they were before, but in some shape or form resembling the communities of old. So next time you're scrolling through your feed, take a moment to remember the forums, the lost history of the internet, but a foundational one that shaped how we communicate online and whose spirit in some corner of the internet still lives. With all of that said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, leave a comment too. I would like to hear your take on this topic, and subscribe for more content like this. Until next time, stay awesome.